All right.
So we got number 25, I believe.
Is that what we're on?
This is Kyle Steve one. Steve, you actually said this morning you wanted to do a podcast.
Yes.
You got up and you wanted to do one. It's been a long time coming anyway. It's been a couple weeks, I think, at least, since we've done one.
Yeah.
But today you had something on your mind. You said, I want to talk.
Yeah. And it's funny how even just the time in between saying that to now, I feel very different, like not good or bad, just very different.
So you said that to me. We woke up. We were probably out here like 11 o'clock, and you said, I want to do a podcast. Now here it is 2:30 or so,
yeah.
and the feelings and thought processes you have are vastly different.
Yeah, but I still want to get them out.
3.5 hours.
Yeah. And I just still wanted to kind of name them, even just for my own purposes, to recognize. So we were talking this morning about what brought on. So I kind of feel like I stepped into a little sludge this weekend, a little depression this weekend. I slipped into it, and I want to name the reasons why I think I did. So for future purposes, I can kind of try to avoid them, or I wish I would fucking learn this lesson. Maybe one time I will, but yeah, it's just getting frustrating, and there's a lot of frustration.
So what'd you do? What went wrong?
I guess to start it starts with a high on the middle of the week last week. It starts with Thursday, a Wednesday high leading into a Thursday of starting to eat bad, and just that carried into the weekend.
What's the Wednesday high? What are you talking about there?
So Wednesday started a relationship.
Congratulations.
Was very excited for it. Yeah. I still am very excited for it. Just kind of feeling out what I am, trying to work through what I am feeling. And so Wednesday that started, Wednesday night. Thursday, this person treated me to a nice massage, so I was very excited to.
Very generous.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was I've never had anything like that before, and it was really cool. So I was super excited.
Now, what kind of massage exactly is this?
I got a deep tissue massage.
Okay.
Not a hand job.
Okay. Just making sure.
It would have been cool. I would have been cool with the dude finishing.
I don't think I asked you that before, but.
Yeah, no, I would. I think I would though. Yeah.
Okay.
So just for future. So I was very excited, but that also went along the same. So I'm with this new person. We kind of said this. I'm a creature of habit, and I almost like turn into a different person when I'm in a relationship, and I go into this like turn off mode where. Right before that, I was feeling. I even said those words. I said powerful, strong, confident. I always like repeat that in my head, like I am powerful, I am strong, I am confident. And I really felt it. I really did feel it. And that's why I was excited to get into the relationship and just be like this person that maybe I can still learn and grow in the
because she made you feel that way.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. And I was just doing the right things as well. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing. Nothing's changed. It's not like she's acting as a different person or anything. But I personally have. I started treating myself worse over the weekend. I ate bad food. I drank a lot. I neglected meditation, and I spent a lot of time with this new person as well, and a lot more time than I have spent recently. So I think that there's a combination of like all these things where. Even when I'm having fun with her, or when I'm having fun at the gym yesterday, whatever, it's like I was in this like almost zombified state of like I can't think straight. It's a very foggy haze, and then that continued into yesterday, so that was Saturday that we were at the gym. Yesterday was Sunday.
I'll make a point real quick.
Yeah.
No, it's good. You made me think about relationships and how it's always a compromise. So the idea is if you're single, you do whatever you want. And then maybe if you find the right person, you guys can have more fun together by joining each other's energies.
Yes.
But at the same time, you do have to compromise because when you have a Saturday together, if you spend all day, it's like, what do we want to do? Not what do I want to do? So a typical relationship thing, and you mentioned you'll change when you get into a relationship. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Relationships bring on a lot of comfort. So part of being in a relationship is let's go out to eat together.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, normally when you're by yourself all day, you're not going to go out to eat.
No.
But if you're in a relationship, it's just a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not making a judgment good or bad, but I think that's kind of what you're getting at. There's a little bit of compromise there.
It's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah, I just can't name that exact thing, but that's exactly what I'm shooting for, is the fact that I did change my lifestyle last.
Because you want to be with her,
which
more.
is fine.
She makes you
exactly,
happy.
Yeah,
right?
I had a good
but
time.
It comes with certain
And I just need to recognize that maybe I don't, before we got in a relationship, I was hanging out with her and spending a lot of time with her, but I didn't change. It wasn't a lot of time, it was a little bit less time, and I was able to continue the same patterns and the same habits that I had, and that's why I was feeling powerful, strong, and confident going into it, is because, 5 days of treating myself poorly, and yesterday just sat in this, I pretty much laid in the hammock, and I just was in a weird state of mind. I just wanted to torture my body. I just wanted more food. Food was terrible. We were talking about how that's a massive trigger, and will it ever be enough? Am I ever going to satisfy that craving?
Food addiction, we've talked about it in previous podcasts, but I don't know if we've ever really named it. It's food addiction is a huge part of our lives.
Yeah, massive part of our lives.
Food addiction, it fits so perfectly. It's just such a perfect little puzzle piece in the middle of low self-esteem, body dysmorphia, addiction to exercise, vanity in general, and depression. It just fits so perfectly in the middle of all that, because the thing that's different about food than alcohol, smoking, any sort of drugs is I know I've said this before, but it bears repeating. You have to eat every day.
Yeah. And
you have a choice. What am I going to eat? And if you're a person like me and Steve,
every fucking meal,
or Steve and I rather,
fucking
every
battle.
single meal is a choice, because what do I want? I want Chipotle. I
fucking
want
Skittles
Pizza Hut,
and fucking
I
Domino's.
want chocolate. But what's good for me? Not those things.
Yeah.
So every single meal.
And what makes me
decision.
feel good? The good stuff, the greens and the
hard stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's but it doesn't make any sense, because most of the times that I eat the good stuff, or that I eat what I think of as the good stuff, like the pizzas and stuff like that, it's supposed to be a fun time. You know what I mean? We're at the gym, it's supposed to be a fun time and everything.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but it's just I'm eating poorly too, and it's it's such a weird thing where the fun is being had, but the energy level is dropping for me.
Well, the problem that's happening to you is that you no longer get to have a guilt-free cheat meal, because every single time you eat bad, there's a shame and a guilt built into that food. So even while you're tasting it, you're hating yourself for doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the point I got to about a year ago. I remember, and I'm still pretty bad, but I can see it more, and I don't do it as often, because I just see it so clearly. Because what you ate a lot of stuff yesterday. We can go into the details, but you said that you didn't enjoy a single item.
Nah.
So you ate everything your heart desired, but not a single item gave you true satisfaction.
At all.
Because there's too much shame built into it.
Yeah,
Is that what it
probably
is?
the reason why I didn't want to be with this new person. Probably the reason why I wanted to be by myself eating. Probably the reason why I wanted to lay in the hammock by myself. Yeah, it's just a lot of self-hate, even while it's going on. Even it's happening, and I'm even just being able to trick myself. It's so crazy. It's so frustrating.
Trick yourself. Go on.
Just that I can do it, and that I won't feel bad. But it's that's.
So you're saying when you're sitting there and you're I can eat more food, it's okay. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Just gonna get one more thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, I just need one, and it's well, yeah, it's okay. You're already gone down this.
It's
path.
The rationalizations. Yeah, and it's all always.
Well, we've already had 20,000 calories. What's another?
It's no, I'm gonna start tomorrow, right? So is that what it is too? It's no matter what I do today, tomorrow is a new day. I'll start again tomorrow, and you just rationalize it. Is that what it is? Because I did the same thing with porn. I think porn is so bad, and I can't even enjoy it the same way you can't enjoy food. If I'm looking at it, doing the deed, I can't even enjoy it while it's happening, because there's shame built in, because I truly believe that I'm destroying my brain. I think porn is so bad for the brain that when I'm looking at it, there's a built-in shame, and I'll do the same thing. If I start looking at it, I'm I'll start tomorrow. I'll stop tomorrow. But it's the same rationalization. It's the same need to do it, understanding that it's bad for me, but doing it anyway. That's addiction. That's pure addiction.
Yeah, and just it's not that I don't care that I'll feel bad tomorrow. It's just that, man, I want to say that I don't remember how bad it feels.
That's exactly what it is.
But that doesn't even feel true either.
It is true. You remember that you're going to feel bad, but you forget the depths of how bad it feels. You never really remember what it feels like waking up the next day and just being like, ah.
And it's a dominoes effect of. So we're eating bad one of those days, and I didn't get to fully eat bad because I'm with this new person, and so I don't want to like look like a complete fat ass plowing my face with everything. So I don't ever really satisfy the urge there, and then that carries into the next day of eating bad, which maybe I didn't get to satisfy the urge there, and then it's like the next day of eating bad, and it's just like this weird like, it's okay, like, yeah, like maybe it's just there's a reset coming up, so just get the urge out, like fill the void. I don't know, man. I don't get it. Even now, like I still don't have the same understanding that I had, like I said, even just a few hours ago. I went to the gym, just feel a little bit different, and just feel like, what am I talking about? Nah, like I'm not gonna eat bad right now, but that's only just right now. It changes so quickly.
So that kind of is a good segue to what we're going to do with this podcast. Is we're talking about how we feel right now. We're going to take a break. We're going to have a meeting, talk about our goals and stuff, and then go into what happens from here. But the thing that I always kind of come back to, and this is I kind of have a theory for right now. So throughout my life, I'll just have a theory. I'll go with it for a while, and then I'll debunk it. I recently debunked a pretty big one, but the idea this time is I think you can fall off on your diet and still be okay as long as you're moving towards your true north. And your true north would be right now griffclass.com if I was looking at your life.
Yeah.
And I think you might have also forgotten about that. I think if you were making real strides towards that, or just that's my theory. I think as long as you're moving your life in the direction that you want it to, in a bigger picture way, you can have small setbacks. And that's why I'll do cheat meals like once every couple weeks, because I think it's okay to have a little give room as long as you're on the right path and you see yourself on the right path.
Yeah. I've always said that too, just like the meal at the end of the week, the reward. And like when I don't follow that, I obviously realize why I feel like a zombie or why I feel fucking terrible. But it's so I guess every time that I do fall off of that goal of, even if I'm just gonna eat bad on the weekend, so whatever the goal is, every time you do fall off of it, it's just a recalibration of what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, but that's the question too. Are you learning from past mistakes? Because sometimes it seems like we are, and sometimes it seems like we aren't.
Yeah. I mean, the gaps of falling off don't last as long as they are, but the amount of food continues to rise. What the fuck?
While we're on the topic of that, why don't you just list off real quick?
I don't even want to.
Come on, tell us what you ate yesterday. Go on.
Oh, yesterday alone, dude?
Yeah. Starting from when you woke up to when you
I don't even remember when did I wake up. So I woke up, I was actually not terrible until like the afternoon.
Because we met with our friend Doug, and then you said, I gotta go to Taco Bell, but you didn't go to Taco Bell.
I was feeling the urge, man.
You want Taco Bell, but you did not.
Yeah, so I went to CVS and I got 2 pints of ice cream, some cherry vanilla, and some mint chocolate chip, or chocolate chip cookie dough. I got 2 bags of chocolate peanut M&Ms, 2 bags of chocolate Raisinets, one of those sleeves of donuts. 2
powdered or what kind?
They were chocolate, obviously.
Okay.
Fuck off.
It's not obvious. Come on. They're both
good. And then I got the 2 coffee cakes, so like the 2 packages of coffee cakes, a zebra cake.
Delicious, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, all right, so that'll be enough. And I think I got like, I don't know what I got for a drink. What I get? One of those Arizona iced teas, whatever. I didn't even make it home. Fuck. Just a quick 32 grams of sugar and.
How unsatisfying is that too? If you don't have the drink you want when you're eating your food, you want the right food and the right drink.
And then I just came home and I made one of those stupid drinks that we have here, which is way too
many.
A
bunch of Crystal Light. Yeah. You're supposed to use like you have a packet and you're supposed to use that packet for 20 drinks, but it's like
nah, just all of it. Fuck it.
It's the sweetest drink in the world.
There's no sugar in it. No. What are you talking about? Yeah. So, and then I thought that would cut the urge just for. Well, I actually even said it to the cashier. I was like, she goes, "Oh, it looks like you're gonna have a good day," and I was like, "Yeah. Well, I'll probably see you later because it's definitely not enough.
Did you see her later?
Yeah, no, I didn't go back to her, but I did do. That's when I went down to Burger King and McDonald's. Did rodeo cheeseburger. Oh man, what did I get into? A large fry, large onion ring, the 10-piece nugget, and then the rodeo chicken sandwich.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that new?
No, it's just the chicken version of the rodeo burger. And then I went to.
What did the sauce game look like real quick before you move on?
Oh yeah, well, a few ranches, few zesties. I love their zesties.
Zesties.
The fucking game there.
The onion rings with the zesty sauce.
God damn, it's good. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went over to McDonald's because I was like, well, this isn't going to be enough. And I got 2 sausage McMuffins from them just because, why not? I love their sausage.
At the same time, so you had like Burger King in one hand?
It's such a shameful.
Did you go into McDonald's with the Burger King in your hand?
But you crinkle it up into like as small of a thing as possible. It just looks like you're carrying more fat food. Fuck off. At that point, you don't.
You probably hoped that people thought
I was going to hide it in
gross.
a bush.
Yeah, I actually just thought of that. If I was going to do the same thing, I might hide.
But there was a few people that were sitting in the parking lot. This is all the stuff that I go through my head.
Dude, that's the good stuff right here. This is the good detail.
So
I actually went through my head. I'm like, what would I do? Would I hide in the bush? I might.
But there was like a lot of cars in the parking lot.
So you have to like,
I wasn't gonna just dive into a bush to fucking do it. I'll show you the layout of the bushes. It's not good.
I remember like going to Walgreens and getting like a bunch of Oreos and milk, and then going to Taco Cabana. And I remember just like the cashier seeing the Oreos and milk in my passenger seat, and I got like $20 for the Taco Cabana.
It's so shameful. But the decision's already been made at that point.
Yeah,
like I already have Burger King in my hand. I'm eating it as I'm in line.
Yeah, what
to
are you gonna do? Throw it away?
McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And so then I just came out. Then I got a few more. I got the sweet and sours and the honey mustards from McDonald's because those are always the greatest. And and then came back and that wasn't enough as well. I even did a few scoops of peanut butter at the end of it and just like I guess I'll go to bed now. Just yeah.
So what about today? You wake up today, and is there even a thought of eating bad, or what?
No, it's Monday. I know I'm not gonna. It's not a holiday like last week.
So
I wasn't able to trick myself like last week.
That's interesting too. That you know that's a trick. You know that yesterday you're like, oh, it's Sunday, it's still the weekend.
It's crammed.
Dude, you're fucking unemployed. You don't have a weekend. Like a Sunday doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't at all.
Sunday's your new Monday, man.
Yeah, I should be working during the weekends pretty much.
I do the same thing as you. We follow everybody up. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even though we don't have jobs, we still follow the 9 to 5
same schedule
lifestyle. And like, oh, it's the weekend, let's party. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Do you even want to party? I don't know.
Yeah. So so I ate all that food yesterday, and then that's at like 9 o'clock, I think, something like that, 9 or 10 or whatever, and it's just like, so I was already sitting in most of that food was done at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then I sit in this like weird comatose body of just like sugar that just hates myself, and I'm like, oh no, so I had the sugar then, and then I was like, oh, I need to have the substance then, like, so I went and got the food later on. That didn't solve it, and then I was just like, I guess I'll just get really high, and so I got really, really high. I was just like trying to escape that feeling of just suckiness, and then I was like, maybe I'll do mushrooms, and then I was like, no, because then.
Damn, I did not know you were thinking like that.
Yeah, and then that's what I was laying in the hammock.
Wow.
And I was like, maybe I'll just do that. I was just trying to like almost like just use it as a way to clear all that fucking fog that it causes.
Right.
And then like just like super sadness too. Like even just thinking about it now, it just fucking sucks to sit in that. And then just coming inside, and then just had that moment where I was like sitting on the can. I was trying to end my night, with the end of the day, fucking shit out all the 20,000 calories that I put in my body, and I was like, I'll just smoke another bowl here, and then I like dropped my favorite bowl. Like I was telling you this morning I was just like, it's just such a weird moment of like such appreciation for this piece of glass that Kyle's broken, or we just all have broken glass a lot lately. I broke a bong, Kyle broke a few bowls. Dar broke a little like heart thing yesterday. Like I've just broken a lot of stuff recently. And I was like, oh, it's so cool that this one's lasted. And the fucking second that I did that, the second that I said it's so cool that this one's lasted so long, and I just really, really, truly love it and stuff. Just I don't know. It's almost, and then you were bringing it up this morning. Like, did I do that on purpose? Was that like a just self-sabotage to the nth degree?
Those things seem to happen. I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, but when I broke my phone, I was having this really...
Fucking by accident just like pushed it into the ground because you were trying to catch it or something, right?
it was so I was in the middle of this like phone addiction thought loop, and like I was checking my phone every couple minutes. Is it a text message? Is it a Tinder? Is it a Bumble? Who is it? You know, who's giving me validation right now? And I remember being like, I gotta go to the can myself right now. I was going to the can, and I was like, should I take my phone or should I not take my phone? And I actually had this thought loop. I'm like, taking my phone is addiction, and I was like, leave the fucking phone. So I decided to leave the phone. As I got up to go to the can, I'm like, I'm gonna take my phone. I picked up my phone and just threw it, basically. It landed face fucking down, and it had a case. That was the funny thing. It's actually exactly this. It had a case, but it landed smack dab and just shattered. And it was the same type of feeling you got for the bowl. It was like, did I deserve to just break my fucking phone right there? Did I deserve to do that because I just went back? I went against my core beliefs. It's almost like, and I don't really believe this. It's a little too superstitious. But it's almost it's almost like you do it to yourself because you know you just broke your core values. You went against what you stand for, or I don't know. Do you do it to yourself, or is it superstition? I don't know what it is, but it's a little too coincidental sometimes. Yeah. When something like that happens.
And it's also probably just the fact of you're just low, and if you're already thinking that way, you can catch everything. That crack in the sidewalk purposely just came there to trip me. You know, just anything, man. And yeah. And then just laying in bed, and then I want to bring up the thought that you said the other day, just like that, because I made a joke about it before I ate the Burger King, like about like just like, oh, I want to like eat myself to death or whatever, and, and like you had made that comment, I don't know, maybe like a week ago or whatever.
Yeah, during the shrooms trip, all I wanted was to go to sleep, and I made this analogy. It's like going to sleep in that moment was deciding not to experience something anymore. I wanted to escape my reality, so going to sleep could be compared to suicide in that moment. It was like, I don't want this anymore. I want to be done with it. So going to sleep would have been suicide. So you were making that same kind of analogy.
Yeah, just like
to eating.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like wanting to just like, I don't know. Even just going to sleep, like after all that food is inside of me, it was just like, man, I just want to like turn off. Like I don't want to feel this. I don't want to experience this.
Yeah.
It's just like a super sad like.
I remember I haven't done that type of binge in a while. My binges lately have been at restaurants, and I prefer it that way. Even though I feel the same as you, like it's not a true binge unless you're by yourself in the dark. I still have been doing okay with restaurant binges, but when I used to do the same thing you're talking about yesterday, I remember I would have like pizza in front of me and a bunch of dessert, and I would remember with the first bite, I would already know that it wasn't good anymore, and I would even think about throwing it away. But all I had to do now, it's almost like my mind is goal oriented, and I have to finish the rest of it. Yeah. And it was almost like I wanted to do it as fast as possible sometimes. It's a really, really weird feeling that I've tried to play around with a lot. But I honestly think you're trying to eat yourself to rock bottom there. I think you want to hit rock bottom, and you want to go to sleep. You're like, the more I eat right now, the worse I feel, and you just want to feel bad, almost.
It's like a self-punishment. It's like, it's literally torturing yourself. Yeah. It sucks.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It's really, and it's the same behavior as a drug addict too. Like you take a crack addict, and they're just smoking crack, and they just do it more and more and more and more and more, and it's because it's that hole inside of you, that hole that can't be filled with external stuff. It's that feeling of deep lack and like I'm not enough, and you just try to fill it with external stimulus.
So is this just what it is right now, and it'll transform itself? So it's food addiction right now, and it'll transform itself into something else.
I think so.
At a later point, or
yeah, I think.
And is that just the natural? You know, is that everybody? Is that every single person?
I've given up on trying to do that. I think I want to talk about that today too, because I've said that in the past. It's like, oh, I think everybody feels it. No, you don't know how anybody feels, but you feel that way, so that's enough. And actually, because you know you feel that way, some people feel that way. So it's like, if you feel this way, relate to us. But I've given up on saying that everyone feels a certain way, because how could you possibly know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
But some people do feel this way. I feel this way. I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it does shift. That's what I was talking about with insecurities too, like body dysmorphia. It shifts over the years. Like we started out feeling fat, and like that was the reason I thought I was ugly. And then my skin was really bad for a while, and that was the reason I felt ugly. And it's like, it doesn't even matter the details of why you feel what you feel. It's going to be replaced by another thing. So, what happened bad in your life? Somebody died. Okay, now that's why you feel bad. Later, you get fired. Now that's why you feel bad. Yeah. Now you've got food addiction.
Just another reason.
There's always going to be a reason to feel bad, and But it's also not resisting that too, because what, like you were saying, and this is how you were kind of getting to a place of despair. You're like, I know my mood now. I know my temperament. I know that I'm going to have highs. I'm going to have lows. So that means if you can recognize that, which is true, I agree with you. That means you know you're going to feel bad again in a different way, and maybe worse.
That's what I'm saying. But so this is what you brought up the other night in your trip on shrooms. You were like, am I going to get to a certain low that I have to actually protect myself, that I have to actually worry about harming myself? And you were saying that about using psychedelics and getting to that low of experiencing. But think about just a regular depression that you go through, that just on a Sunday night of eating bad all weekend. Is there going to be a time where I need to protect myself from the low that I get to there?
You're the only one who can say that accurately enough.
And that's a super scary thing, just to know that that's right around the corner. At any moment, a self-sabotaging Steve can come through and be like, "Go get more Skittles and go get more Dominoes." And
it's funny.
And then one night I'll just fucking turn off and just.
I don't think so. It's different. Not that way. It would take more. I don't think you're gonna eat pizza and then just be like, "Let me shoot myself in the face."
This is if this is just the one that's currently taking the place. It doesn't matter what these are. It doesn't matter if it's food. It doesn't matter if it's me dropping my bowl. Whatever it would just set that person off and put them to that place. It doesn't matter. You're saying whatever, fill the void.
That person or you. So we're talking about something specific. We're talking about fear of suicide, right?
Yeah. Fear of getting to a low where you're thinking those thoughts. And
here's the question that I would ask. Has it ever happened to you before? To the point where you've actually tried it?
Well, no, not to the point where I've tried it, but even in just last night thinking, even just having a doubt of it is like, that's too much. Like, it's already too much to be able. That's not even that low of a low for me. And it's still a thought of, why am I doing this? What am I putting up with this for? All those questions of, what do we, if you have to ask what we're doing this for, like, it's already to a point where that's a little, it seems a little scary already.
You get into a dark place, yeah. And actually that makes me think now too, because I thought about this earlier. That video we watched of the author of Infinite Jest, David Foster Wallace. I'll put a link here. I will remember this time. I would say that. It's him talking to a graduating class, and this is a brilliant man, wise, very wise, and he's talking about how to live life, and he's talking about how sometimes we can get really depressed and tired and annoyed and irritated of the everyday tasks, going to the grocery store, going to the gym, going to work, driving in a car. These all get so tiresome, and sometimes it's like, why would I keep going on? And he talks about how you got to change your mindset. You're not isolated. We're all one, right? But then you realize, so he talks for, I don't know, like 45 minutes or something like that, and he's talking about how to live life. And you go, this guy's got it figured out. This guy understands life. Then you find out this guy also committed suicide after this speech. I don't know how long it was, but that same man who knew all that wisdom committed suicide.
Did he forget it, or did he know too much and he just understood that the pain was going to happen again and again and again? Or because I'm not mad that I ate too much food, obviously. It's just I'm mad that I can experience the same low that I can do that to myself. I can put myself into that low with whatever. It could be food this time. It could be fucking anything next time.
So can you have the discipline to say, I'm not going to do that again, or make rules for yourself? Or do you just not believe in yourself at all? Because that's the question right now. Yeah. Is it hopeless or is it hopeful?
I just know how I just know how I can feel on a Tuesday, and I know how I feel on a Wednesday, and they're just.
What about accountability bets? Like, I know it's like a Band-Aid over a bullet wound, but what if you owe me $20 if you do that same type of thing again?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think you're letting yourself off the hook with this kind of like hopelessness feeling.
Yeah, it's the current cop-out. It's just the easy way to say, I wasn't strong enough this weekend. I fucked up. That's all.
Right.
I went into comfortable mode.
I wasn't strong enough, but like, could you have avoided it?
Yeah, I've avoided it in the past. That's why I said to you I said it this morning. I'm like, is there a way to just not have to experience these? Like, I just don't want to be that. I don't want to be at the gym and like be experiencing those different types of energy levels where like I'm not at the same place as everybody else because of what I've done to myself.
Do you want to talk about that more?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about the gym. You're talking about, we went to the place I train at, Eastside Austin Elite. They had a viewing party and we were there watching some fights.
Yep.
And
it was known that we were gonna drink that day. Like, you know, I was like looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's like it's a cookout event where there's food, there's drinks. So we go there and we're gonna eat and drink.
Yep. And so that was just kind of the known thing, and we even knew there was gonna be food there, and we still went and got snacks beforehand. Got a few bags of chocolate covered peanuts. Loving those chocolate covered peanuts.
You gotta make an investment. You're not sure what type of food, how much type of food, and if you're in the mood where you're gonna eat, you wanna.
So we already had polished off, like, you know.
You wanna have a security stash
of just candy.
Candy and booze. We also did make ourselves a couple shakers of lemonade vodka,
and we did quite a few shots before we left.
We were having a good time.
Yeah. So. Then we go to the gym, and we get to the gym, and, you know, we're just continuing that, but it just kicks in where I'm not going to go overboard with the food, but I've already kind of done enough damage to where I'm already feeling bad, and then so I'm not in the mood to fucking wrestle or.
So actually, let me ask you a question then, because I just said we were having a good time. I honestly did feel that I was having a good time.
I was excited.
What point did it go from having a good time to not? Where?
Probably just like the laying down, coming down, like sitting in the gym. Yeah.
Okay, so we got to East Side.
Realizing that the dream of chocolate pie fountains and fucking bacon cheese pizzas that were lined the walls and everything that didn't exist. I was like, well, it's just a regular a few pieces of food here and there, and just not enough for my liking. I do want to give a shout out to them, because it was a good food display and everything.
It's all free too.
Yeah, it was a perfect.
You fucking.
But just in my mind, but that's the thing. It's just like nothing's gonna please me. Like it was just that realization of nothing's gonna.
But I did realize that I maybe got your hopes up a little bit, because I was talking about last time, and there was
this fucking fudge.
It was a mudslide pie. I got my lion's share of it last time, and I kind of hyped it up to Steve. I was like, there might be some good desserts. But hey, we did have some chocolate peanuts and chocolate raisins to fall back on.
Those were already long gone before.
Okay. Yep.
So
actually,
I guess
it wasn't actually the food then, or was it the lack of food that depressed you?
Like, I don't know what it was, man. It was probably just the cycle of just all of it combined, and just like the drinking. It had been like an hour or two later. You know, the fun is like kind of, it's in between the fights and stuff, and you guys are wrestling and everything, and it was just a way. I wasn't feeling this. My energy level did not match up with the girl and with Kyle, and so I was kind of like very sleepy and very in that same comatose, like sugared out. You know, think of like when you eat a lot at Thanksgiving and you just want to lay around. Like that's what I felt like, and I just probably did it to myself, you know. And I'm in that state, and you know, everybody, like, the girl wants to be playful with me and wrestle and stuff, and you want to wrestle and kind of, and I'm just like, no, I don't even want to move. I don't want to do anything. And that's where it set in, and that's where like it all began. That's where the domino started to fall.
And you start to feel self-conscious about
and
why you
then
feel
the judgment.
That way.
That's where this is where we talked about earlier. Is like now I'm starting to judge everybody around me, and I go into this mindset of I'm not matching up on energy levels. So what's going on? Am I wrong? Are they wrong?
Right.
And then, like, you know, Kyle's excited and he's cheering for somebody, and I'm like, oh my God, he's being so loud. And like, now I'm being like critical of that, and like the girl's wrestling me and she's being a little rough, and like I didn't want to play that rough and stuff. So I'm like, I'm just in my head a shit ton, and I'm like looking around, judging everybody, and like judging myself. And like you said it earlier, like if I'm not comfortable with myself, I'm trying to put that judgment on everybody else. And man, it just starts from there, and then it just goes into like, now I don't want to spend time with her because I just want to be by myself. I'm already in that alone state. And, you know, I'm with Kyle, and he knows probably where I'm at, but I'm just not matching up with him. And am I letting him down? And, like, just all these weird places that my mind was going to. And, like, just got really depressed there. And then that just carried into the next few days and just kind of escalated. And then laying in the hammock and just analyzing all of those things over and over and over again, and every one of those thought loops, and why am I not doing so good in Griff class, and this, and just cutting myself down, and just literally like picking every fucking thing that's wrong in my life. And I'm not a good son, and I haven't talked to my parents, and whatever the fuck I can get myself to pick up, like just that like pile it on, and just like.
So I think, you know, you asked earlier, does everyone feel this way? I don't know, but maybe not. And if not, that means there's two types of people. People that understand what you're talking about, and I'm one of them, and I think some people that listen to this will understand what you're talking about. And, you know, that's some empathy, because that fucking sucks. I've been there, I'll be there again, you'll be there again, and that what happens, depression, a lot of people aren't sure. There's actually debates, is it spontaneous? Does it just come in like a storm cloud, or is it caused? I'm of the mind that it's a little of both. I think, as bipolar people, we probably have ups and downs naturally, but that you also trigger them with things like bad food.
Yeah.
And what happens then, if you're not somebody that has this, you got to understand how bad it is. Depression, it's basically a virus in your brain that permeates all of your thoughts. And if you're feeling negative about yourself, it's gonna spread out, and you're gonna feel negative about everybody around you. And then you feeling bad about the people around you is gonna make you feel bad about feeling bad about the people around you.
Yeah.
And it's a downward spiral, and it's awful. It really is awful, and it sucks because it's irrational thoughts. It's actually really irrational thoughts. You're talking about. It's basically the opposite of self-confidence. You're saying sometimes you believe in yourself, but when you get to the depths of depression, everything you've ever done is a lie. Yeah. Everything you've ever done is a lie. You'll never achieve anything.
I'm waiting for it all to crash around, like Doug said.
Everything
waiting
sucks.
for it all to just fucking.
I just want to go to sleep. I want to try again tomorrow, maybe, or not. I just want to go to sleep. It's basically the idea.
Escape. Yeah, escaping it. It's just like hiding, like just in the hammock and stuff. That's what I felt yesterday. I was like sleeping up there. It's just like I'm like hiding. Nobody knows where I am right now. Like,
yeah. And I guess if I had to guess, that's probably where the suicide comes in. It's like, do you have the mindset where you can try again tomorrow, or is the mindset so bad that you don't see a way out of it ever?
That's where the scary thing is. Like, at what point is this going to feel like too much weight? Right. At what point are all those questions? I'm only 28 right now. Like, at 30, am I going to have more weight put on my back? At 35, am I going to have more weight put on my back? At what, am I going to make a graduating speech at somebody's thing and then fucking blow my brains out a day later because it's fucking too much to handle? Like, God damn it. Like, the people that we even think are handling it aren't handling it, Like, who's to say that I can fucking handle it,
From my perspective right now, it seems like a foolish thing to worry about. It seems the same as worrying about driving a car.
It seems like what we talked about like 2 podcasts ago. How could I possibly fail? How could I go that far backwards is what I felt like. And then it happens and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not as far. Play at the level where I should be, Steve. You're not fake it till you make it at the top,
Well, you are. You're both.
Yeah.
That's what you have to be able to do. Like, if we're talking about being bipolar, and if you are bipolar, you have to be able to zoom out and look at your life on a longer time period and understand that you will be this way, you will be that way, you will be that way, over and over and over and over and over. And it has
you got that into my head this last fucking week.
It has to be, sometimes it's gonna feel worth it, sometimes it's not gonna feel worth it, I guess.
Yeah. And so that just leads into what I wanted this podcast to be, was plan out, get excited about something in the next month or whatever, plan out 30 days from now and just kind of try to keep that momentum going.
Yeah. And it's no surprise, even before we start planning, that we know what we're going to talk about. Try to build something. We're guys that aren't doing the traditional thing. We're not going to an office every day. We're trying to build things. You're trying to build GriffithGlass.com. I'm trying to build some sort of a podcast, some sort of a platform here. And we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to talk about exercise. We already know the things we're going to talk about. They're so hard.
Girls.
And yeah, sure, girls. It's just so funny, isn't it? It's ironic that the things that seem so drudging, such drudgery day by day, are the things that have to be done.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
there's the depression of it all, but then there's also like Steve, you're being such a whiny bitch. Like everything is okay right now. What the fuck is wrong? You broke a piece of glass and fucking nothing's wrong. But it's just like, so you have that. That's another way of self-stabbing. It's just going too far the other way and just being like, everything is too good, or like I do have it well. Like things aren't bad.
Right. Gratitude. Where's the gratitude? That was the question we were asking yesterday. We were talking to a friend of ours, and he's going through some stuff too. And it's interesting when you have depression, because I always say that depression is the most selfish thing there is, and that's the whole cause of it. I think depression is a deep amnesia. It's amnesia that we're all one. You think, I'm separate. Me. Why is this happening to me? Why does my life suck? But then if you look at like your life objectively, and I'll get depressed too. So if I look at my life objectively, it does seem like a whiny bitch thing to say at all. Like, whiny. What are you talking about, dude? You wake up at 11 o'clock. You never have to drive a car. You're basically living the dream, but for real. I
know. It's just, and that's what's scary is like things can be very well. So what happens when they get even worse than this? Or like obviously things are gonna go worse.
You're living in the future.
I know. That's not being present. And it's just a scary thought to think things can be going this well and I can feel this low. And then I guess what I'm looking for is an answer is to, did I cause it or is it just something that my brain's going to do for the rest of my life? And it's just, like you said earlier, it's a mixture of both. And it's hard to understand that this is probably going to continue to happen forever, and just try to limit the amount of times that does happen with the things that you can't control. And that's just like a hard thing to kind of, know that it's just in the future. I guess there's just more pain coming up down the road, and it's okay. And there's also more happiness too.
But learn at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the quote that I keep talking about from Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's a father and a son, and they're on this long motorcycle trip across the country, and the son gets tired and depressed, and he's like, "What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Riding on a motorcycle day after day after day is tiring. What's the point?" And the dad says, "I don't know." And he doesn't have an answer. There's no real answer. Like, why doesn't this feel good anymore? Why aren't we happy? I don't know. All we can do, and this is an awfully quoted thing, but this is the idea. All we can do is try to fix what's wrong, and if we don't know what's wrong, try to figure out what's wrong, and then try to fix that. So that's what my whole life has been for the past several years. I've known something's wrong, and I've got to try to fix it. And the first one was moving away from Rhode Island. I'm like, I think I get depressed in the winters. I think I do. I didn't know, but I decided to move to Texas. And okay, I made progress there. It wasn't the answer. I still feel bad. Why do I feel bad now? I don't think I'm supposed to work in an office. I don't think I can hold myself in an environment like that. But I still feel sad. Oh, I still feel sad. Okay, well, maybe it's dating. Maybe it's being in a relationship. That's all I'm doing, but it's at least you learn. So all I'm asking is that, like, can you just learn from these depressions? Is there anything you can take away there?
Yeah, definitely, and I definitely am. I definitely think that I'm at least trying. I'm at least analyzing it. So there's a thought of that I need to learn from these situations. So whether I'm learning or not, I'm still to be determined. But I just hope that I'm not just putting the blame on food this time. Like you said, it just doesn't. It feels kind of like a cop out, even just saying like learn from the experiences. Well, is it the experiences that we need to learn from, or is it just what will happen?
Dude, give yourself more credit. Seriously, give yourself more credit. By saying this will happen, you are giving yourself permission to do that same thing again. That's what you're doing right there. You're saying, I'm probably going to do it in a couple weeks, and you're giving yourself permission. Why don't you say, I'll give you $100 if you do it in the next 4 weeks? That's a step in the right direction, that's all we have. This one topic that I always come around to is like, do we have free will or not? I don't know. I don't think we have a choice, but I just put pressure on you. There you go. How do you respond to that now? Are you going to do it again next weekend?
Yeah.
Because again, the whole thing is, I felt bad this weekend. Why is it? Is it because of food? You don't know, but you think it probably had a lot to do with the food. Yeah. So try getting rid of the food, and then if you feel bad again, try to figure out that time.
But do we need to be figuring that out, or do we need to figure out what we want to begin with?
Both.
Maybe I do want food. You know what I mean? Like, what do I want? No, seriously. Like, I don't know what I want.
What do you mean?
I don't know what I want. I guess, like, you asked me earlier what I want. It's just it's just hard to identify exactly what I want.
I think, again,
it's that haze.
It almost feels. Yeah, I was just about to say. It almost feels mean sitting in this seat trying to tell you what to do. I'm telling myself what to do too. But it is the haze. You've put yourself in a haze right now because of the bad food. I really think that when it's poison. You basically poisoned your mind, and it's not working as well right now. And I think that's where the confusion comes. Like, oh, what is it? It's really simple. The answer is kind of staring you in the face, and you're just kind of refusing to see it. It actually might be, they have these parasites. There's parasites in the wild that will take over the host's mind. I think the bad food is still in you right now, and trying to be like, Steve, you gotta get
You
more.
still
You
want
will
more.
get more in
Go
the
get
future.
more. Go
you
get
you
more.
cannot make
Get the
this bet.
Skittles.
You can't make this bet. You're gonna get more in the future.
Yeah.
It really is.
So it feels like that free will thing is just like
Just clean yourself up for a little bit, or pay me $100.
yeah. Yep. Let's make some goals.
Business meeting time.
Yeah.
All right, we'll adjourn now and come back in a little bit. Yep. Okay, so we just got back from a little goal writing session. We talked a little to each other about what we were doing, but really, you were planning actually a day-to-day schedule,
Yeah.
and I created some goals for my own. So we could probably go back and forth.
I was gonna use something along the lines of like this big billboard to hold myself accountable. I guess it seems
Why don't
like
you show it a little bit longer than that? It's a pretty impressive effort. It's pretty strong, actually.
I feel like I work very well on a schedule. It seems like, and so I have some goals over here. Like these are stuff that I want to get done throughout the week. And it doesn't really matter if I complete them throughout the week, but I'll just fill them out on the day that I complete them. But it's kind of just like, I think I seem to work better for a diet. I seem to work better for working out. I seem to work better in all these different ways with meditation and stuff when I put myself on a little bit more of a regimented kind of system. So I was saying it earlier to Kyle, it feels like I'm almost like a child, but it's also, I guess, what it's I need to do. So. Yeah, it feels like almost like a childish way of like needing to just
I don't
look
like
at this
that.
dumb billboard every day to hold myself accountable.
I feel like you were more of a child by not doing it. That's my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of like disempowering yourself by saying you're a child.
Well, just
whereas
saying,
I think it's a very mature thing to do.
In my mind, it's like, well, these are all the stuff that's in my mind. I should just be able to take care of them. I shouldn't have to write it down to be able to look at it every day, to punish myself every day to get it done.
I think that's childish because you've learned that you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I can't either. I was talking to a friend yesterday, both creative types, and we both came to the agreement that, as I think everybody in the creative world kind of understands, procrastination and creativity go hand in hand. You know, we have these goals. You want to create stuff. I want to create stuff. But it's not a mindless task. You have to use your mind and your soul and your heart to write things, to make glass. And
it takes time.
It breeds
you have to schedule for it.
It breeds procrastination.
Yeah.
More than that. And if you can actually set yourself to a schedule, like writing specifically, every writer pretty much says the same thing. Like, oh, I can't write without a deadline. Like, if you got a deadline, last month I had to write 15 pages, and I had 5 pages done when there was 10 days left, you know, and I just wrote faster and faster when the deadline came up, and that's what everybody does pretty much.
Yeah.
So having deadlines for yourself is almost mandatory in my mind. For me, it is anyway.
I just never really do this without, like, outside of the work environment. I've never done this before, so.
Yeah.
Besides for these things that have been working, like, I should pay attention to, you know.
Yeah. So let's go like.
Back and forth kind of thing?
Yeah. You want to go physical first, or?
Yeah, let's do physical first. All right. I don't really have any specific ones yet, but I know that I would like to do. I'd like to focus maybe this first part of the month on. So like around the 30th, have something done for the mile, because you said that you were going to be focusing on doing another mile around then.
I want to at least. Basically, the last time we did a mile, we went to a high school track, and we ran a mile flat out. How fast can we run it? And that was just a great night in general because. We put effort into going somewhere and doing a hard workout. So you asked me the question, are you training for the mile? Not necessarily, but I see it the same as a tournament or a set of comedy. It's going out there and giving it your all. You know, that's not a regular run. We go out and we run every day, but it's kind of like, we're just going to run. If you go to the track and do a mile, that's a hard workout. So even just going to the track one time and doing a mile by the 30th, if that's the end of the month or whatever,
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
that's a goal for me too. So I would also have that one.
Cool. So that's the first part of my goal, but then the second part of the goal is to start getting a little bit longer miles in for the last 2 weeks I did about 30 days out, I think, something like that. So on the last part of 15 days work on the short mile, and then just kind of see what I'm going to put up there.
So you're viewing this month as the next 30 days. It's not until the end of July. It's basically until August.
I have until the August 13th.
Okay, cool.
So 30 days out. I think it would be 2 weeks is fine, but I just kind of want to set more of like I want to see what I'm working towards.
Cool.
So
For me, I like having 3 weight sessions a week, and it's a very simple goal, but it keeps me on track. I don't want to miss. I want to be able to do 3 weight sessions a week, and if I miss one, that's a failure.
I want to jump on board on that because I just think that I've succeeded by doing that. So.
Yeah, and I mean, how good does it feel?
We should be doing it at Ohio State.
Ohio State, baby. Yeah, we did, and we do usually. We did bench press, squat, and deadlift today. That's a strong day. How do you feel after a workout like that?
I feel strong.
Like a man.
I feel confident.
Like
I
a
feel
man.
powerful.
Ohio State, baby. Yeah, so I don't want to deprive myself of that.
Yeah, we haven't. I think I missed one day last week, and I got a little bummed about it. But that was the first time we've missed something in a while, and I still got bummed about it. So I think it's good to just have that incorporated throughout the week.
Yeah,
strong.
And that goes hand in hand with diet for me. I just said to you, I'm not going to mess up. I have a very specific diet that I follow. It's boring. It's the same thing every day, but I stick to it. And I'm not going to deviate from that unless I have a specific plan, unless I want to go out with somebody and have a good meal. I'm not going to deviate from that in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I shouldn't either.
And that's done.
Gonna jump on board on that one too. That's just an obvious thing. Gonna just stick to a diet throughout
because
the week.
Anytime you do deviate, what are you doing? I mean, you have enough food in the fridge, so what are you doing? You're going out of your way to buy food that you know is bad for you. I don't need it in my life right now, so I'm just not gonna allow it to happen.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Is it too harsh to say 30 days? No, I don't think it's harsh at all. I'm gonna do 30 days of no outside influenced food.
So is every single one of these a $20 if you fail it? It should be, right?
Yeah, I think so.
If one of us doesn't do a mile, it's $20. If one of us doesn't do 3 weight sessions, it's $20.
We'll have we think we can probably take a picture of something like this, and I mean I can take a picture of my finished product.
At the end, we'll keep track of it.
Cool.
And when we fail or not, we'll let each other know.
Nice.
Is that all physical?
Yeah, I want to run in the off days that I don't. So every day I should be doing some sort of physical workout. So even on the weekends. If I'm not weight training, I need to be at least going for a run every day. So I'm going to do that. So for 30 days, on the days that I'm not weight training, even on the days that I'm weight training, I probably will go for a run, but just because we usually do.
So you're committed to $20 for every single day?
Yeah, for every day of not every single day of running, but on the days that we don't weight train, I should be running.
Okay.
So that's if we weight train every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then I need to be running Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Cool. I'm not going to do that one personally. Yesterday was a day that I just needed a day off. Sometimes I just need that, so I'm not going to do that one personally, but that is a good way to finish physical. I also said one for me, moving away from physical. I started a meditation club. We do it Thursday nights here at Metropolis, and so far it's just been me and you basically.
I love that.
Had a couple friends join, but I'm going to keep that up. There's no reason why I should quit that, because that's something that people will start and then quit because it seems like a low commitment. I didn't have to pay any money. I'm not getting paid any money, so nobody's going to really care if I stop.
Yeah.
But I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
So if I fail to show up to meditation club on any Thursday, that'll be $20.
Yep. And I said it before. Pretty much jumping on the same thing with that. The running club. There's no reason to not be. I've always wanted to be part of more of a running community, so just create one around me. I'm gonna do the same thing. Even if it's just me running one day a week with the Metropolis Running Club. I'm just gonna start that up. So there's no reason.
What's the time frame on that?
I'll have it booked and start, and I'll talk to Lindsay by the end of the week. So and it'll be at least scheduled for next week to start.
Cool.
So
nice. Just more.
Whatever day it is. Yep.
Yeah, and this goes back to we made a point about dating a few podcasts ago, and it was that it's an excellent way to have to be ready mentally. So if you've got a date on Tuesday, usually you're not going to eat poorly Monday night because that puts you in a bad mood.
Yep.
And meditation club, it's you're going to have the same thing with running club. It's another chore, and it's another thing you're like, fuck, I got to go meditation club today. But it keeps you on point.
Yeah.
And that's...
I've already said I'm going to be running anyways.
Yep.
So all I'm doing is bringing my body to a different location to run. It's fine.
And it seems really easy right now, but it'll teach you a
I
little bit more.
I know, definitely, without a doubt.
So that's cool.
It's the same thing, yeah. It's good.
One thing I told you outside was that I've seen a lot of people talk about doing this, and it's something I actually want to commit to now, is gratitude. And we were talking about how depression is so selfish, and you're only seeing the negatives in things. And one way to try to counteract that is to wake up every day and just say 3 things you're thankful for. So every day I'm going to be writing down 3 things I'm thankful for. And today I was out there. I like hammocks. My hammock is fantastic for me right now. It's been great. And thank you for that too. That's not part of my gratitude, but Steve brought me to the hammock world.
The hammock game is strong.
The hammock
now.
game, it's fantastic. It's a great bonding place. It's a great place to read and relax. It's romantic.
We have a lot of our conversations. We have a lot of
conversations.
Deep, yeah, our deep shit there.
I wouldn't get outside as much if it weren't for that hammock. So
I was just gonna say is we know that for a fact. We didn't put up our hammocks in the last apartment that we lived in, and I was never outside, dude. Like even in my depressed state yesterday, I was still able to move my body outside and at least
it's great.
Feel some sort of outsideness.
And the great thing about it too is it's like a cocoon. So even if you don't want to see anybody, you don't have to. You just gotta close up.
And mine's higher up, so people just walk by me and they don't even know I'm there. It's great.
Sweet. So the first one was hammock. The second one was the summer breeze.
Summer breeze. Thank you, Austin. Summer breeze.
And then third, we already mentioned we deadlifted today, and the feeling of being completely physically drained, which only comes after a heavy set of deadlifts.
Yeah.
That feels good. And getting the weight that you want to, we both did. Ohio State, baby. Yeah.
Nice.
So that feels great, being depleted, and it's so hard to get in there and do it, but it's always worth it.
Always.
So yeah, that was my last one there. Gratitude. I want to do 3 gratitudes every day.
So where can I find your gratitudes? What is it going to just be like? You just going to have a notebook there, or just like, are you writing it down?
I guess I could make a Google Doc. I'll make a Google Doc and then share it in the comments of this podcast.
Right? Kind of keep yourself a little bit.
And anybody can click on that and see my gratitudes every day. Mm-hmm. And actually, I'll make it editable too. So if anybody wants to fuck with my stuff, for one, you can do that. You can delete all my gratitudes if you like.
Because it doesn't matter. He's going to be grateful for something tomorrow. Anyways.
But if you want to join and write your own, you can do that too. So you can either fuck with me or you can write your own gratitudes. But there will be a link in the comments.
That's really funny. Nice. Cool.
So that was one of mine.
I just need to do more with Griffith Glass every week. So obviously Griffith Glass is important to me, and I just need to set aside some time. So yeah, I've been blowing glass pretty consistently, and I don't really take pictures of my stuff anymore. In the last few weeks, I really haven't been. So I'd like to just kind of once a week, just maybe sit down and do one blog post, kind of just recapping the week, because I'm learning a lot of stuff very quickly, and I'm not really remembering it. I get high a lot, and I work with glass, and then it's finished, and I'm like, I don't really remember how did I get to this or whatever it was. And there's been a few instances where I even said to Kyle, I was like, I want to try something new tonight, but it's not something new. I've actually tried it a few weeks back, and I just forgot how I did it. And I already had sold the piece, so I can't reference it anymore. And so I just have no knowledge of that experience anymore. So just a blog post, even if it's just a paragraph of what's going on in my world, if I'm learning something new, if I have something going on with a contest or whatever the fuck it is.
So you're just going to do that whenever you have free time, or are you going to try to do it once a Sunday, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I don't know, because there's a few different things that I have scheduled for Griffith Class. So maybe just an hour once a week or something, just maybe set aside some time, or see if maybe I'm just going to be doing them every day anyways.
Because I think the reason I asked, I'm going to do the same thing. That was your goal, and I saw it, I'm like, that's a good one, I'm going to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. But I think I will do it every Sunday, because then you have a weekly, we're saying, so much changes in a week.
Yeah, I'll do that.
If you actually do it 7 days apart, it kind of makes sense.
Let's do that. Okay. So at least that blog post of the recap will be there.
And Sunday's kind of a good day too, because it's the day that you're tempted to do shit. Yeah. So instead, if you can sit down and write what's going on, relax. And
I should be on a good path.
Yeah. So I like that one. I'm gonna do that one too.
Cool.
Our good friend Dougie Fresh, the blues doctor.
Dougie Fresh.
What an amazing piece of initiative. He just found out that you can go on the radio and just start a show for free. They'll let you have a block of time on a local radio station, and he does it. So why am I not doing that? Why wouldn't I do that? That's clearly in my range of what I want to do. So I'm going to do that too. I'm going to make moves to get on the radio. I don't know exactly what I can do, but if I'm not doing something to do that, then I owe you $20. I have to at least.
And then what's the time frame for that?
Within the next, the same as you for. What was the thing that we asked?
The end of the week.
Running club.
Running club.
It's the same as you for running club. 1 week if we haven't done that.
Cool. 1 week from today.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Good. That's a good one, dude. That's going to be an exciting one. That's really
Yeah.
Cool. Reading. I've been doing a little bit more of it. Mm-hmm. Just there's no reason. I have a lot.
Learning to read.
We have a lot of free time in our days. I shouldn't be sitting around moping so much. I should be putting some time into into some reading and stuff. I read some pretty beneficial material this week, and I've obviously read stuff in the past.
That's not obvious.
I've read a few things.
Anything is not
a few
obvious.
things in the past.
You've done a lot of reading.
I never said a lot. I said I've done some.
Did you finish that Once a Runner book?
No, I'm still working on it.
Dude, fucking
I have 3 books.
years. 15 years I've lent you that book.
Yo, I'm making some, but now
The turn of the century.
So I said 50 pages a week. That's a lot, and I read 25 yesterday, and I felt so good about it. And I was like, yo, I can easily do that twice a week. So that's another one. So 50 pages a week. It can be done. It's obviously going to be done throughout the week. So I'll just mark it on my calendar. I did 5 pages this day, whatever. So, and we're gonna have. I'm gonna have to go back and remember all this stuff that I'm saying. I'm glad that we have it on film.
The one that would go along in that same subject for me would be writing. We did that bet last month where we each had to create something, and mine was I had to write 15 pages, a solid piece about one thing. So not just 15 meandering pages, which I used to do. I used to have a goal of writing 3 pages a week or whatever. It would just be about
Still
anything.
really interesting to read though, because they're pretty fucking funny, man.
Sometimes
I was really funny.
I would just write whatever was on my mind. But this time I wrote 15 pages about a real thing. I was writing about love. And I found that it was amazing for me. It was really amazing in a number of ways. First of all, it came out better than I thought it could.
I fucking loved it. Yo, the fact that I could lay on that couch and experience like emotions out of just reading words is fucking crazy. Like, I got super sad reading it. I had a few like, I know that I'm kind of intertwined in your life and everything, but it was really impressive to get. I've never had like books and stuff do that before, so it was really impressive. And I wanted to say that it was like really fucking sweet.
It's a great affirmation for me too, because like a part of being a writer or any sort of an artist is you think your stuff sucks and you think nobody would ever want to read it. And I had a couple people read it and they said they wanted more, so that was getting back to my goal. I'm going to write another 15 pages by the end of the month here, so by the 30th.
Not just write, but have them sent to me. So like
in an organized order. So what I had to actually do was, it's not like I said, it's 15. It's chapters I've made in an organized mode. So right now I'm just doing the first draft, getting it all out there. But by the 30th, it will now be a 30-page thing. Nice. And some of it might be in different order. But basically, I'm just working. I'm gonna write a book. As long as I keep writing 15 pages a month, I will have a book.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't I be doing that? Because it's helpful for me. It helps me get through my emotions. I have something that I can actually point to. Wow, I wrote that. Why haven't I done this already is really the bigger question.
Yeah. If I knew how to write, I would do it.
I'll teach you, man. It's okay. But yeah, that's.
Well, I'm just saying we're living pretty interesting right now. Like, it would be nice to be able to have. I know that the podcast is kind of like my way of using my memory. I go into these like dark fucking depressions and I can't remember that it's fucking good. And, like sometimes it would be.
Keep a journal.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Anything, just if you want to write stuff down. I mean, you've done that before.
I know. I usually just write it, just weird notes on my phone.
Yeah, and I just had one last KyleCast thing. Is I got to get more varied guests. So within the next 30 days, I guess the same time frame as you, by the 13th, I have to have at least reached out to. It's a very simple goal, but I usually don't do it. So I got to reach out to 3 people, and I already have a couple ideas. So it's simple, but it's a step in the right direction.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was something else I wanted to mention too. I don't know if I'm cutting you off.
No.
This is tough. When we set goals, the idea is you're walking a tightrope. You wanna make yourself as productive and you want to be on the right path, but you also don't want to put too much pressure on yourself too. So it's almost like it's a momentum thing. I think we've been getting better and better in every single area in the last few months, and I know that I can probably handle about this much.
Yeah.
And even as I said that, I'm like, I got to reach out to 3 guests. I'm like, not 5. That's a little too much.
You
kind of got to understand yourself and be compassionate, but at the same time be harsh, right?
Dude,
because you're capable.
I know, man. That's what I'm saying, dude. We had this last month, man. Like, I feel like I put those goals and I was like killing it. Like it just felt,
yeah.
I just wow, what am I capable of? And it's just.
And what you did right there, I like that, and that's something that I do. And you see in my room, I've got that board. I write down every single day when I meditate, when I lift, when I run.
I was gonna have a little symbol for that stuff, like a little
now
arm circle
at the end of the last 5 weeks, like my board is filled up, and that's happened a few times in my life.
And sometimes
every single time it happens like that, I feel excellent. Like it just like okay, that's. And it's almost like the question you asked earlier. It's like, is depression something that just happens, or is there byproducts? Both. But I'm more inclined to believe that the byproduct when I can look at the way I've acted and be like, okay, that's why I feel good.
Yeah.
Or if I'm not doing that, I don't feel it seems to go hand in hand.
Yeah, and maybe I just need to see it on my wall to be like, if I am having a low, be like, well, look at the last few days.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm having, a high, just be like, hey, recognize that it was right there. And you're gonna, at some point,
And it's also
just the recognition that it's gonna happen again.
It's also a way to give yourself credit too, because you could lift earlier and then kind of forget about it, or you could lift and be like, bench press, I did this, and that's basically what you're writing when you write those numbers. You're basically saying that happened, I did that, and then if you can look at that and be like, I did that.
That was strong right there. Yeah.
Because that's another point too. I don't know how much more we want to talk, but we talk about depression. So bipolar has two types of madness: the depression and then the mania. And the truth is, both are distortions of reality. Both of them are your thoughts going too far in one direction. Depression is I'm a piece of shit. Mania is I'm the best ever. And they're both false, right? They're both false. But the more you can ground things in reality by creating things and then looking back on it, the more you can kind of ground yourself. So that's what also writing down your workouts does.
Yeah.
That is reality. When we look back in this podcast, it's like that we made that.
Yeah.
Your glass, you made that. So
but
yeah. So when you're in those low depressions and you're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, I haven't done anything, then you have even more to look at. You're like, no, I did do that. I did do that.
Yeah.
I did do that. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you want to.
Yeah, man. It's good. I just think that I need to see it. You're right. So I'm gonna just continue to fill it out, and it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
Yeah. And right now we only have one key to the apartment because Steve lost the key.
So that's today's.
So Steve's gonna go get the key made.
Yep.
And I need some mushrooms. Not the really good kind of mushrooms. I like those too, but I want to fry up some mushrooms and put them in my salad. And we're out of mushrooms, so we can get mushrooms.
Yeah.
Cool.
We should do mushrooms sometime too.
Obviously.
We're friends. I mean, you're supposed to do mushrooms with your friends. So.
Yeah, I agree with that still.
Yeah, so I think that's, I want to thank you for letting me have this outlet, to kind of.
Thank you. I mean, you're helping me create here.
Yeah, sometimes I just feel like, I don't know, yeah, I guess sometimes we hear other people's influences and sometimes it's bummed out, so whether it's selling or whether it's whatever the external source is, but I think just having this is really important. I don't know.
Do you think it's the same, and this is a leading question obviously, but is it the same type of feeling I get from writing? It's you get to get your feelings out?
Yeah, because it's almost for the last few weeks it's been this slow high, and sometimes it feels like it's false sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes I am faking it until I make it, and even when I am on one of those upward swings. And so if I'm on the podcast and I'm on one of those upward swings, but it's not super, it's just a normal part of the day or whatever, sometimes I'm still coming across as something. So it's nice to have the opposite and to see, I don't know if I've been low on the podcast, have I? I don't know if we've been in.
We've been honest.
Yeah. It's good though. I almost wish that I could have done it sooner. It's just I wanted to text you last night and be like, hey man, you think that would help or hurt it? I don't know. I want this to be real. I want it to I want to be able to remember what I'm thinking, and I know that I got some of it across today, but even just in that half an hour where we took a break, I even was reanalyzing what I said and stuff, and it's did I say anything wrong? Did I misinterpret a feeling the wrong way? Did I did I say that I wasn't happy in the new relationship? I even said that. I was just did it come across weird or anything? It's what the fuck? I could even go through those those highs and lows just in the 30 minutes. So it's even just having that to look back on. I guess just to show myself that I am crazy. I don't know. Yeah.
Right, we're all crazy. I'm crazy anyway.
Yeah. You're pretty fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. Been told that a few times.
Yeah. This week, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Get the old P word.
So yeah, I think it's good. Just trying to be honest. Figure this shit out. Learn more from it. So.
Figure this shit out. Yeah, and that's the truth too. That brings me to something I was thinking about before. It's because we're trying to figure it out. You're going after what you're trying to figure out these problems.
Yeah, but it's going after perfection. Is that what you're gonna say?
No,
Oh.
actually, it wasn't. I was gonna say. I was gonna say, just kidding. When I've gone through periods of my life where I'm resisting the change that I think I need to make, which has been a few years, of years of maybe working at MetLife, not making any progress in any area, just going through a stale depression. That is a whole different type of torment, because right now I'm going through emotional traumas of trying to figure stuff out and
very quickly
and making mistakes and learning from them. And I guess I should go back and mention something. So since we talked about the mushrooms in the last podcast, since I did the mushrooms, I kind of made a decision to just act very decisively, especially in emotional areas of my life. Like if I was having a conflict with a girl, for example, and I decided to just nip it in the bud, like take care of it right now. How am I feeling? And it was almost impulsive, but it was the opposite of ruminating. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about decisiveness versus indecisiveness, and it's kind of like wallowing it about in the question of like what's going wrong versus just trying to fix it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And that's something I want to continue too. Is if I have those questions, like what you're going through right now, you're talking about your relationship, and that was something that's interesting that you brought up too. You wanted to kind of clear that up. You're not having a bad time.
But is it? So that's my opposite to yours. It's like, well, it maybe that is a good way to live. Like I'm seeing that you're just like kind of taking care of things, and it's really just very quickly, and you're able to learn so much from these experiences because you're just doing things that normal people take a long time to do. Like that could have dragged out in the relationship for months before it actually gotten.
Yeah.
So it's like. It's an impressive way to look, but it's also like, fuck, I know that I go through these highs and lows. Do I want to like burn all of the relationships around me just because I'm in a low? Like, wait, am I not happy with her? Or like just all these weird thoughts of like destroying things while I'm in a low because I'm not sure of what's causing that low. Is it and I already just said it to you. I said she didn't cause the low. I'm actually extremely happy with with this current scenario. It's just what I did to my body to cause the low now almost might have an impact on the actual relationship itself. So that's a weird thing where I guess I just need.
And that's all you can do too. I talked about. I had a theory that I kind of developed after that trip that night. That was in any decision. Life is just like a poker game. You have a certain amount of information, and you can only make the decisions with the information that you have. So sometimes you're not going to be sure, but I feel like most of the time you have a gut feeling, and that gut feeling has already weighed everything out. You can do all the analysis you want, but I think you're just going to arrive at that gut feeling anyway. And in your case right now, the gut feeling is, I want to follow this relationship with that girl. And in my gut feeling, it was, I need to confront her and talk about what's wrong right now in my relationship. So it's not necessarily one is better than the other. It's what do you want right now? And the question I also asked is, which decision will make you wonder what if?
Yeah.
And in your case, it was, what if I didn't get into a relationship?
Yeah, that's what I went over last week. So I just want to kind of clear up how this happened, I guess, because that really did start the whole chain of events.
Okay.
It was the scenario was presented with, she had feelings and presented them to me, and then I had to kind of see where, I didn't want to hurt this person.
So you were dating her casually.
Yes.
And then she basically said, I want more.
Yeah, and it was like, well, what, and that I guess was just an accelerated process of, what do I want right now? And that's what we talked about earlier, like the want. What do I want right now? And then the idea of if I do, I guess I just wanted to try to see what it was like. There was two sides, like you said. It was one, go into it and see what it's like, and the other was just pass and not get her hurt, not hurt her, and just end it before it even starts. And that was like the one that was like, I don't know if I like that, because like I do enjoy spending time with her. So that started the whole like, maybe that decisiveness is just like, yeah, just pick something and go with it, and just it's gonna be okay.
It is.
Yeah, and that's even just getting out of bed in the morning was just like, is it like, should I get up now, or should I, like, even just cutting the indecisiveness out there is.
And it's also having, the way I described it before too, was having the self-confidence to know that no matter the outcome of your decision, you will handle it. In my personal scenario, it was, I thought I was wronged by a girl, and it ended up being more complicated. I won't go into details because it's not important. But basically, I made a decision to say, hey, that wasn't okay, and let's figure it out. And basically, in that decision, I had to fully understand that might be the end of me and her.
Yeah.
But I knew that either way, it was going to be okay. If that's the end, I'll be okay. If we're going to figure it out, that'll be okay too. And that's actually what I prefer. And that was, but no matter what, it's just, so we get caught in this trap of like, okay, I want to start a podcast, but I'm no good. Nobody's going to listen. Just do it. It'll be okay. If it doesn't work, it'll be okay. Yeah. But the only time you're not okay is when you have, you know the truth. You know what you need to do, and when you don't do it. So like when I wanted to do stand-up comedy, but I ignored it for 8 months, I was hurting myself every single day.
Yeah. When you're at MetLife and you didn't write anything at all. You weren't writing anything.
It'll be okay. If you just write something, it'll be okay. But if you don't write something, then you're just going to live with that regret. And the regret and the self-resentment, like the resenting yourself for not doing what you're supposed to do, anything is better than that.
Yeah.
I'd rather make 1,000 bad decisions than no decisions and hate myself for making no decisions.
Yeah. And that we really need to give ourselves credit when it's due, because if you really do look at your life now compared to then, like, you are accomplishing a lot of goals very quickly.
You are too.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Like, we're like, a lot of that time that was put into Fidelity or put into MetLife or put into other people's goals, like, it's almost like I sometimes just chalk them up to like, move on past the 5-minute mile, move on past the thing, because it's just like, it almost felt like, but yeah, I should be. It's just weird that we don't. We just literally, it happens, and then seconds later we're already like, and some.
Yeah, damn, there's this piece of poetry I'm grasping for, but it was like
these are all of our goals though. Like I created the goal, and I'm not even really that. It's just I need to kind of step back a little bit from it and just.
We always want more. It doesn't matter. But in the pursuit of it is where the real happiness lies for me. Is where I found it. So it's even like. As cliche as it is, it's like the chase is better than the catch. Yeah. That kind of is what it is. We're just in the chase every single day. We're in the chase. And then you catch it. It's like, oh, sweet.
What's next?
What's next? Yeah. And that can be torture, but if you understand it and kind of accept it, it could also be kind of freeing.
Yeah.
Ohio State, baby. Why did you deadlift today? You didn't deadlift because you needed to deadlift 245 pounds. You deadlifted because you're supposed to deadlift today.
But it's just weird to think that even like... That's so new to my life. Like Griffith class is so new to my life. Yeah. Learning all these things are like game and all these weird things are just so new to my life. Like look how much I've accomplished in such a small amount of time, and it's still weird to think that like this is what we talked about. How much do you need to do to be happy sometimes?
It's not that it's you're.
I'm not trying to pick it apart right now. I guess that's just the question that sometimes when I'm in the low, I'm not feeling that right now.
That's fine. I'm not
believing
saying you
that
are.
statement right now.
You pose the question, and I'm going to answer it the best I can. It's dichotomous thinking. It's like happy or not happy. But the truth is that it's not a black or white thing. There's a scale, and what we talk about a lot is the baseline. How did I feel 1 year ago today? How do I feel today? Can I honestly say that I don't feel better? No. I definitely feel better. Yeah. It's definitely worth it. Sometimes you're going to feel worse, but compare that worse to 3 years ago or Denver. Like, compare your worst low now to compare to your low in Denver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, man.
I know.
Not getting better?
Oh, no. There's not an appreciation for it right now. But when you're in the low, exactly. Yeah. Like, it's almost hard to see all of that. And it's so weird because it's so right. Dude, you said it even earlier. Like, the answers are right in front of my eyes. But, all I would have to do is, when I'm in last night's low, is just really look back 6 months. But it's even so fucking hard to do that.
Yeah, because you're so zoomed in
it's
on that
so
present
crazy
moment.
how upset I am in that one fucking moment that I can't even see that none of this actually all of everything that we've built, it didn't exist a very short amount of time ago. And I will build so much more in the next 30 days and so much more in the next.
It's
just so weird.
So irrational too, because we're both exactly the same. And a lot of these are caused by romantic interest. And it's like, how is a girl that I met a couple weeks ago emotionally affecting me to the point where I forget how much, a couple weeks?
I know.
And that's emotionally affecting you when you've made the progress you have in the last month. She didn't exist in your life.
I know.
2 months ago.
I know.
Like, what the fuck?
I know.
So that's how irrational it is. And I broke a piece of glass. Like, that'll send you in a spiral. Or I embarrassed myself socially. So?
There's so many more days. I know.
I know. But we will be there again, and that's why I always talk about zooming out. It's like, dude, just try to remember.
I know.
Write as much as you've done in the podcast. Like that's what this
Yeah.
is. It's remembering.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I even feel noticeably different from the beginning of it. And it's almost like you said, I'm going to experience these emotions either way, so I might as well at least get them out in some sort of form so I don't have to keep on playing. It's already been said, so I don't feel like I need to baby myself anymore and be like, oh, sit in the stew for the rest of the day. Fuck that. Like, now that it's been done, it's exactly like you're writing. You said that you've handled so many of the emotional traumas that you've had so quickly because of the writing. It's like, well, you've wrote it all out. You've seen how you've already reacted. You're not going to react like that again. I'm not going to whine to you on the couch again. I'm not going to cry on the fucking hammock again. I'm not going to do all that shit. I've already done it. It's done.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. I want to just go on a little bit so it's you have fleshed out. It's like you're talking about either keeping your experiences in and reliving them over and over with rumination, thought loops, or getting them out. And once they've been gotten out, like you said, there's no going back. So when you mentioned my writing, that's what I'm doing. I'm writing about my own life here. So if I write about an event that happened to me a week ago and that event is still replaying in my mind, as soon as it's on paper, it's almost like that's a different Kyle that happened to. It's almost like, okay, so if an emotional event happens and then it's still happening, it's still happening. But if it's on paper, it happened. It's almost like an event in the past rather than I'm still going.
It's already been documented, so you don't need to remember it in your head.
Yeah.
A lot of these things, I think I'm just trying to remember. Like, hey, Steve, don't forget that you can be depressed. It's such a weird thing, but it's like, if I don't have to think that, it's like.
That's why it's so important. Like people talk about having somebody to talk to. It's if you don't have a friend that you can really open up to, you should probably make that a priority. Or if you don't have an outlet like writing, just find a way to get your thoughts out of your head is basically what I would say.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different ways to do that. Art is really, that's what art is.
Yeah.
You're kind of getting your emotions out in a way.
Yeah, getting you out of yourself.
Yeah, just try to be by yourself as little as possible. If you've got that type of mindset.
I can't.
If you've got the type of mindset that we have.
Yeah.
And it's a weird line too because I consider myself an introvert, by nature, and I don't know what that means exactly. Sometimes I feel extroverted, but the majority of the time I'm very comfortable being alone. But I also know it's not good for me. So like if I'm honest, like I prefer living alone, but I know that living with you helps me so much
I know.
because there's an accountability aspect. Even if I don't have bets going on with you, I know that you see me being an asshole. If I
can only be
that
that person I was last night with BK sitting in front of me at that table. I can only be that person every once in a while, or God damn it, I'm gonna feel so shameful sitting next to you.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be sitting there just eating my salad.
Look at bro, just getting protein
How
today.
you doing, man? I'm gonna lift. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, so
there's the competitive aspect, but then also the camaraderie.
I have fun living with you too.
Yeah,
and I learn a shit ton. Whether it's dance is crazy. It's an accelerated. It seriously seems like whenever you learn something, I learn it. Whenever I learn something, I'm able to even we're just voice boxes for each other, and I appreciate that, man. God damn, is that important?
I do too. And that seems like a good time to say, well, I was supposed to reach out to 3 people. I'm going to try to do a little bit of this work. If you want to be on the KyleCast, let me know. I'll find a way to make it work. I don't care where you are. We'll do a phone interview, webcam or something. But if you want to be on it, let me know, because this learning that we're talking about, it only improves with more people and more perspectives. And everybody's got something to share.
Dude, every time we've had somebody on, I've been like, we've taken things from them. Like, you create those 15-second clips from like Instagram and shit. There is so much content that each one of these have, and it's just like, it's good. Dude, even if it's just for myself to hear, like the things that I've said, like the key phrases, it's actually almost like you're picking the key phrases out of these podcasts.
Yeah.
And like those are like the highlight clips, and even if it's just like, hey Steve, you are loved by many. Remember the time when you were banging a lot of girls and you said that really funny clip? Like that was like, but I can just at least go back to it and be like, boom, there it is. Like, or go back to the lows, go back to it's reference points in our lives. And dude, I think it's sweet, man. I'm really excited to read more of your shit, because it's just like, dude, there's a lot of experiences happening very quickly, and sometimes we forget about them, man.
Yeah.
And it's like I forget about a lot of that shit.
Yep.
It's almost like a time traveling thing to see where you were and remember where I was and stuff too. It's really cool because, when you're writing, I was probably just sitting out on the couch doing something else or whatever, or in the van or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really cool to think of it like that. The little time capsules.
So just keep them up.
Yeah.
Keep creating. Don't stop.
Yeah, I love it.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Thanks
a lot.
Yeah, thank you too.